Hi, I'm Robbie Lawler.
What's up, Fight Family? This is your favorite MMA coach, Thiago Alves, the Pitbull.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Pedro Munoz.
Mike Brown.
Guys, I am Alexei Olenik. And welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome.
And this is We Want Picks.
And you're watching We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks.
We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks. Hi, everybody from American Top Picks.
My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jacob and I are here live. Before the fights, we're here to hang out, talk about our picks, preview some of these fights. Let's talk about some bets that we can all have going, and let's just have some fun and get excited before these fights start. Woo! We're 5 hours away from these fights starting, but hey, we'll be here for a little bit. We'll hang out, and while we're hanging out, go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. That's WeOnPicks.com/bets. You sign up, you make a deposit, we send you $50 as a thank you. Jakey boy, weigh-ins were interesting yesterday. Let's cover weigh-ins, then we'll talk about fights, bets, all those things. Everybody in the live chat, A, hang out in the live chat. B, don't forget, go to WeWantPicks.com/vote. It's free. There's no qualifier. You don't need to be a member. Vote on every single one of these fights who you think wins. And if you pick a perfect card, you get all 10. And we're not doing like Tapology where you have to do how they win. We're just talking winners and losers. If you can do 11 out of 11, we send you $100 literally as a congratulations. And there's no qualifier there. That's WeWantPicks.com/vote. Jakey boy, weigh-ins are over. We lost the fight last night. You watched every single weigh-in. You have any insight? You said Glover looked a little warm for the weather.
First of all, a little, speaking of under the weather and a little dehydrated, that would be me today. Energy's a little bit low. Spent the night last night with a few models. Took the yacht out through, where did we go? Monaco, down to Sicily, and just took the red eye back for the live stream. So it was a long night with a lot of beautiful women, but we're here, and we're gonna push through it.
Yeah, no, Jacob and I went out together to a comedy show last night, so this is the nicest set of shots that he got to look at last night.
Me and yours, our night ended at 8:30, or your night ended at 8:30. Mine was going until 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I just got off the plane, the private jet, the PJ, rolled out the red carpet, and here I am, back in the penthouse.
Okay. Okay. That's shaking for you. Anyway, weigh-ins. Glover did not look great. He was a little worn out, but he probably recovered well. That's just, he's getting a little older. Weight cuts be a little harder every time, but he's never had issues making weight. And as you pointed out, they have an extra 12 hours to recover.
Yeah,
because they
weighed
right in.
Yeah, it's right around there. Because they weighed in at a normal time, but instead of fighting on Saturday night, which would be a normal time, they're not fighting until Sunday morning. So it basically works out to 10, 12, something hours. I mean, even for Glover and them, it honestly might be like 14 hours and something, because I think the main card starts noon local, when usually it would start around 10 local Saturday night. So it's gonna be a long time to recover. There might be some big boys in the octagon. It might actually mess some people up, because normally they're used to being whatever, and they come in a little bit heavy, a little bit thick, a little bit looking like me in there.
Well, you mentioned you were watching a live stream show, and Prochazka was talking about how he's going to come in light. He's not going to rehydrate all the way back up. He's going to stay light. And you were saying that DC was throwing a fit, saying that's ridiculous. Glover's so big. Yeah, why would you?
Yeah, DC was like, I don't know why he's doing this, but apparently he's only going to put on. His plan is, so we'll see what actually happens, and maybe he's like blowing smoke or whatever. But his plan is to only put on like 8 or 9 pounds after weigh-ins. He's only going to be, what's 205 plus 8. 5 is 210. Add another 3, 213 pounds. Come fight night, and DC says a gallon of water. I don't know. He said a gallon of water is 8 pounds. So
every wrestler knows exactly what a gallon of water weighs. You literally weigh in on the scale, straight up, see what you weigh. Then you grab a gallon of water and you stand there. Oh, that doesn't work. Can I eat an apple? And then you stand on there, you hold your apple. I could eat an apple. Ooh, could I also have an orange? And then you just literally start holding the food you want to eat while you're on the scale to see if you can eat it or not.
Wow, bunch of fucking.
But every
scientists,
wrestler
huh?
knows a gallon of water, what it weighs.
There you go. So it weighs 8 pounds. Apparently, he's only going to put a pound of a gallon of water back himself, and not even that, I guess, because he's got to eat food too. I imagine. So who knows? That's his plan, to stay light. He wants to stay light and nimble like a ninja. So more power to him. But DC was like, against a powerful wrestler like Glover, I would put on some weight, and he just doesn't want to do that. And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. First, D-Train says you're annoying as hell, and he wants to know if you're here every week.
I get it. Yeah, listen, I know I'm very self-aware that I'm very, very annoying. So I'm with you. I wish I couldn't. Honestly, I wish I could skip today, but Angela won't let me. So yeah, I'm here.
So DT, my bad. I made him come to work today. So he is here every week. You could just watch Quick Picks and ignore him if you're not a fan of his. Frankly,
if you're trying to hurt my feelings, you're not hurting my feelings, because I'm very self-aware about how annoying I am, for sure.
And I remind him often. So let's talk about this fight that is actually on the screen. And opening up the card, we have a pretty live underdog. We've got Jocelyn Edwards taking on Ramona Pascal. I get it. Ramona Pascal is kid loves me, though. Well, hey, I'll take it. You guys have no idea how full of myself I am, so that stuff works. Ramona Pascal, I get it. She's not great, but she is her actual style is striking. She is a Muay Thai striker. She spent time in Thailand, like legitimately that is her style, and she had issues with grappling. She seems to have overcompensated almost in a good way, because in her last fight, she was getting blasted, dropped, but very tough, able to survive Josiane Nunes, then implemented her own grappling game plan, got 3 takedowns, how many minutes of 4 minutes of control time, and really put some stuff together and showed something. This fight's a little different, but not very, right? Jocelyn Edwards is still a striker, just like Josiane Nunes was. Ramona Pascal has essentially a full camp here. This is at 145 instead of the last fight, I think, was 135. But I personally like Ramona Pascal to get the takedowns, get it done. I'm well aware of how good of a striker Jocelyn Edwards is, but I don't think it matters. I think Ramona Pascal showed how tough she is, showed how gritty she is, and showed that she can work in some takedowns. So I do like Ramona Pascal to win this fight. I think a plus 3.5 bet is probably the best way to go here, but those odds were not great. Jakey boy, I think you're on Edwards here, right?
Yeah, minus 175 for that plus 3.5 for Ramona, which is the way that she was getting hit by Nunes in that fight. And it was a 145 that was up in weight for Nunes. It was because Ramona was short notice, so for her to be able to take that fight, because she walks around. I think she said going into that fight, I think I have it written down. She cut 20 pounds in a week and a half to make 145 for that fight. So it was up in weight for Nunes, and she was absolutely destroying Ramona on the feet. Was dropped her multiple times. Couldn't put her out, obviously, but that was not a good look in the striking if she's supposed to be this Muay Thai person. I know that Nunes is a pretty, I don't want to say dominant striker. She does have good power, but she's somebody that will overwhelm you. But she's a shorter person that really got inside the pocket on Ramona, where Jocelyn with her length could have even more success. So when I look at this fight, I see Jocelyn. I think Ramona, if she's used her wrestling, we've seen Jocelyn struggle in the past with the wrestling, end up on her back, can't really do anything off her back as far as like being a submission threat or anything weird like that. So I would just try and take her down, because Jocelyn, I know she's not very good, not super skilled, decent power, but low volume. She does have a good 1-2, and against someone that's been dropped by the 1-2 of Nunes, a full 145er like Jocelyn Edwards, if she comes with the 1-2 and hits you on the chin, it's not going to feel great. So that's why I went with Jocelyn. I mean, I don't feel great about it. The value is probably in Ramona, so if people are playing the Ramona side, I completely get it. But I'm going to go with the favorite here and the experience. And Ramona, I just don't think I can trust her chin as much.
Well, I mean, she showed you can trust her chin. Sorry, I laughed while you were talking because Tiffany, my wife, got home. My office is in the front of the house. She walks through the front door. She's got her purse, still has her sunglasses on, even though we were inside, and then walks past my office like this. Just like so disgusted that I'm doing this right now. She does not support the channel, doesn't support me running the channel. She's not a fan at all.
She supports it when she buys those Balenciagos, though.
Women. Here, let's share some, let me share Bet Online right now. Could look at some of these odds. Okay. So this is what we got for Bet Online. Is that even view? Can you even see?
Yeah, you can see it.
All right. So listen, straight up odds right now. This is Bet Online. That is my preferred sportsbook for MMA because they have the most amount of props. We'll walk through some of these, see what makes sense. I like Ramona Pascal to win. I do think this goes to a decision. So Ramona Pascal plus 145 money line. I don't think that's necessarily worth it. The over-under on the line, over 2.5 minus 240. I don't think that's worth it. Does this go to distance? Yes. Minus 190. I mean, that's not a terrible bet, frankly. Charles and Edwards.
Yeah, you might as well. That's what I look at these a lot when we're breaking these down the last few weeks and stuff. There's some weird differences sometimes between that over 2.5 and the goes the distance. If they're already making it over 2.5, the likelihood of them going the distance is pretty strong, and you get so much better odds by just taking the goes the distance, and you only have to last another 2.5 minutes.
So the lines move with the money. They literally just have computers adjusting lines as money comes in, and people just bet. More people bet on the round than they do the method. So the bots, the computers, just changing those odds because those are the ones getting the action.
Right, and there's been a few times where we were looking at this, and they were the exact same odds. So you can get over 2.5 for the exact same odds. So you get a free 2.5 minutes basically. So
yeah,
it's just something to keep in. If you guys are looking at odds and you're looking at placing bets, look out for those little things because as Angelo mentioned, these are computers doing this, and computers, as smart as they are, aren't the smartest sometimes. So
humans, if you guys want real in depth, I did that whole how the betting works with Chris Riley. Chris Riley's been in the industry for a while. So Chris Riley walked through it. He basically said there's one sports book that puts out the odds first. Everybody else literally copies their odds. And okay, well, Pinnacle said she's minus 200, then she's a minus 200. Then from there, all the books copy those odds, and the more advanced books have bots and computer programs raising and lowering odds as bets and money comes in. The other ones are manual, and Chris was basically like, that's where a best fight odds website is perfect because you can see who's sleeping, who is adjusting their odds manually, and if they're sleeping on it and they didn't adjust it up or down, when we get to the Liang Na fight, that's basically a pick 'em now. But I guarantee there's some books sleeping on it that haven't adjusted Liang Na down.
Which I got at plus 130 earlier in this week, and you trashed me for putting a unit on that. I just want everyone to remember. You were like, I said during our breakdown, I put a unit. You're like, oh, I wouldn't do. I would put. So now it's a pick.
On Liang, I picked Liang to win.
I know, but I said I put a unit. Everyone can go over, you watch it, and you were like, oh, I don't know if Jesus, a unit.
I probably said that. That's what I do. Honestly, there's nothing here that I think Ramona Pascal wins by points. My favorite bet is the plus 3.5 right here. We walked through that math. Check out yesterday's video. Minus 170 though. Nope. Minus 170 though is not. I don't like those odds enough to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. No bet on this fight for me. But I think plus 3.5 is the way to go. But honestly,
this one too is like. Yeah, goes the distance. It's like that's a 2-1, and the way that Ramona was getting dropped in her last fight, I wouldn't play that. I don't like any bets for this one. Honestly, I've been the whole time we were talking, I'm looking for something that I like on this fight, and I don't like anything. I agree that I think that maybe the plus 3.5, but that's minus 175 that's pretty hefty.
Frankly, Jocelyn Edwards wins inside the distance, decision, no action. That's probably a safe bet because Jocelyn Edwards most likely won't get finished here. She can finish, but again, minus 210. I don't necessarily love it enough. And listen, we don't need to bet every fight. And frankly, last week's card, I hit almost every single bet. Lots of money to be made on last week's card. This card, some good fights, but not. I don't feel like there's a ton of money to be made.
I look like $1 million, and I'm gonna make $1 million today. Bitcoin's down. I gotta do it. I gotta put it all on every single fight.
So now let me transition before we move on. Let's transition to what you guys think. So again, go to weonpicks.com/vote. There is no qualifier. You don't need to be a member. You don't need to be anything. Just vote for who you think wins these fights, all 11 of them now. And if you are right, we send you $100. If anybody picks a perfect card, we'll send you $100. 2 people picked a perfect card last week. The problem is we didn't shut down the voting in time, and they submitted their card after it started. So those were not
nice. I mean, that
doesn't count. Nice try.
I mean,
but
that's true. Yeah, that's
those
pretty
don't
good.
count.
That's like
But-
everyone that's on the Lock of the Week videos. All of a sudden, Sunday
Edited their
rolls around, we
comments.
see edited comments. All of a sudden, some other comments start popping up. Oh, I forgot to write this, but I definitely had. It's like, I bet you fucking did, bud. I bet you
I
did.
honestly wish we had more time so you could basically screenshot every single comment, then find the ones specifically that were edited, compare them, and just absolute wall of shame roast job. Because the best part is we're just hanging out. We're giving you our best insight. We're putting in a ton of time, ton of research, doing all this. You guys are giving your picks. Some of you are appropriate. Some of you are screaming and cursing. Some of you fight with each other. But I will never understand the lying. I don't get the lying. Like people are like, oh, I made $200,000. What? Who are you impressing? We're all strangers. Who are you lying to and why? Positive, let's hang out, let's share insight, let's all try to get rich. Because if I get rich and you don't, that doesn't affect if you get rich and I don't. We're all in this together. I'm not taking your money. We're all taking the money from the books. So anyway, and that is
Small
correct.
dick
East
energy.
Coast Trading Post. I just don't get the lying. I don't understand. That drives me nuts. Anyway, weonpicks.com/vote. You still have a few hours. Make your picks, submit it. Again, no qualifier. You don't need to be a member. There's no special circumstances. Just vote. And
Yeah, Jester
you
did
guys,
make 100K in DraftKings.
guys-
I don't know if you saw that.
Who did?
Jester made 100K in DraftKings.
Oh, really?
2 weeks ago?
Well,
A week ago, 2 weeks ago? It wasn't actually him, but somebody named Jester apparently in DraftKings hit one of the big tournaments. So now he's claiming it, which I mean I would do the same thing. I don't blame him.
Well, and it's not even like Jacob and Jacob. Like Jester is not very a common name, but you guys have picked the underdog here. 29 of you on Ramona Pascal, 20 on Jocelyn and Edwards. That's interesting. And we have a sharp community, but this week's going to be, I mean, I don't think I've ever had upside down picks, maybe one time. This is a feast or famine week. I'm going to look like a genius, or I'm going to get my clock cleaned with the amount of underdogs that I picked.
How many do you have? Did you count them? I have 4.
We'll keep track right now. There's 11 fights, and already I have 1. So let's move
I
on.
have 4.
We got Liang Na taking on Silvana Gomez Juarez. Liang Na, Jacob's lock of the week. I'll let him do that whole spiel, but Liang Na's a solid grappler. She comes in, shoots a million takedowns. Once it hits the ground, if you look at her record, she does have a ton of stoppages, but those are a little hollow. The record's a little padded. I wouldn't necessarily count on her to like constantly get stoppages, but she does have grappling. She does have takedowns, and she has power in her hands. We watched her drop Ariana Carnelozzi in that fight, literally laid her out, dropped her. Then she got exhausted. Carnelozzi's an absolute tank, and Carnelozzi ended up taking over, but Liang Na had 3 takedowns, I believe, plus dropped her, like did some real work in that fight, but it was a UFC debut. All sorts of issues with coaches. There was a lot going on there. She's fighting Silvana Gomez Juarez. Silvana Gomez Juarez has insane power for this division in her hands. She's 0-2 in the UFC. Both of those losses are grappling-based losses. But if you look at the last one, she essentially flatlined Vanessa Demopoulos. Just dropped her. Vanessa fell like a bag of dirt, and Silvana followed her to the mat. And she shouldn't have. She followed her to the ground, and things happened, and then she was submitted. But she's got insane power. Personally, I think Liang Na wins this fight. I think it's the takedowns because Silvana Gomez, glaring holes in her grappling. With that being said, she has such stupid power. Vanessa Demopoulos is a grappler as well. And the only reason it got to the ground is because she was almost knocked out. So I do think Liang Na wins this fight. She's my pick. I might not be as confident as Jacob, or at least I fully recognize that Silvana can just absolutely put her lights out. But what do you think, Jacob boy?
Yeah, so I already mentioned I got Liang Na at plus 130 over earlier in the week. It's literally a pick 'em now, minus 110, minus 110 for both fighters. So that definitely moved. I also played early in the week, does not go the distance at minus 260. That is now minus 325. So they think this fight ends. If you still want plus money on this fight, you know, the over-under is 1.5. I still think the under 1.5 is probably a safe play at plus 100 because Liang Na is going to come over and come across like a cannonball and something's going to happen. Either Juarez is going to get taken down, and then she's going to get mauled, or it's going to be a big shot, and Liang Na is going to drop very quickly. I will tell you, I had a dream last night, and I tweeted this. Very weird dream. I had a dream about Liang Na. It was a very normal dream. It was not, one of those where you wake up, you got to change the boxers, anything weird like that. So I had a dream, and what happened was the first round ended. She is walking to her corner, and this is 100% a real dream. This is not made up at all. She goes to sit down on her stool as her coach is leaning in to talk to her, and they butt heads, and she gets knocked out. I don't know what the hell that dream means, but it was an accidental headbutt by her coach. She got KO'd by her own coach sitting on the stool after the first round. So if you guys are dream readers and look into that stuff, let me know what that means. But I'm Liang Na all the way. She is my lock of the week. She is a ferocious grappler. I mentioned it. If you watch our very first breakdown against Ariana Carlosi, she was my lock of the week again. If you watch tape on her and the way that she goes after girls and the grappling and stuff, it is ferocious. She throws them down, and it's not all submissions too. That's why if you guys are looking at the submission is plus 140, I understand that looks good. The fight is probably not going to go the distance. It's a pick'em fight. Liang, the arm bars with Juarez, but she can also just ground and pound girls and TKO girls as well. So be a little bit careful on the submission bet. Just because she gets into the ground doesn't mean she's always going to look for submissions. She could transition, get full mount, start grounding, pounding, TKOing. So that's my only warning for this fight, but I'm Liang Na all the way. And it sounds like a lot of people are, because that line moved quite a bit.
It did. Let's look at the odds. Guys, don't forget, WeWantPicks.com/vote. Pick a perfect card. We send you $100. Doesn't cost you anything to do it. You don't need to be anything special. Just anybody can go there and vote. And then if you want 50 free bucks, here's my shameless plug that some of you complain about while absorbing all of our free content and trying to get all of our free giveaways. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com/bets. We have 5 different betting partners. I'm sharing Bet Online, and that's what we'll look at and talk through here. But we have 5 different betting partners, and Bet Online is my preferred partner. But you sign up with any one of them, you make a deposit, we send you $50 as a thank you. So let's look at these odds here. Like you said, Jakey, full-blown pick'em. It's a straight-up pick'em, -110, -110, where Liang Na was a good-size underdog earlier in the week.
Yeah, plus 130. Honestly, that -325 does not go the distance. I got it for -260. I still think that's safe money. If you put 3.25 units on whatever your units are to get a unit back, I think that's safe money in this fight. I mean, if you look at Liang Na, she doesn't go to the distance.
Zach with the super chat. Zach saying, great breakdown as always. Appreciate you, Zach. Still spots available for the $5 DraftKings contest on DraftKings League. 5 of this goes to Jacob for rent. All right, $4.99 for me, 5 for you.
Money.
I appreciate you very much, Jack. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. I said Zach. I don't know why I am
you said Jack.
Slurring my words here. I might be drunk in the middle of the day. Anyway, Zach.
It was my last night. It's probably.
I thought you were with women last night, Jacob.
We made it very clear that your night ended at 8:30, and then my night kept on going. I got the yacht out.
Jacob with the girlfriend that goes to a different school. Zach, thank you very much. It is very, very appreciated.
She's a girlfriend.
And we have there's links in our description for a free DraftKings league. Zach, we do a free league, costs nothing. Zach, and you guys are able to open up. We've made it available.
I joined that this week too, Zach.
The $5 one or the free one?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend joining that one because I'm gonna actually everyone join. Yeah, everyone join that one because I need all the money. I need more rent money. Everyone join the $5 DraftKings league because I need to pay rent. We have 20-something days left to pay rent for June. Everyone join. I'm taking it all.
All right, well, join that contest. There's a $5 one, a free one. It's all there in good fun, but let's take a look here. You were rambling on about some nonsense. Oh, you were saying fight does not go the distance is worth -325.
I think it is.
Which means 70. That's 76% probability. So 76% of the time, this fight does not go to the judges' scorecard, is what you're saying.
I would say it's probably 95 out of 100. This does not go to the scorecards.
Well, -325. Method of victory. Liang Na by, there's not just a flat stoppage. You got to pick a side, but Submission is only plus 140, which is shocking because Juarez, her 2 losses were submission.
Well, I just went over that. Liang Na is not just
Oh, I get
not
it,
just a
but like
submission
plus
person.
750 for a TKO.
And look at the round 1 submission, then round 2 submission. It goes from 225, jumps up to 800.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a first round type fight. If you
Well,
want
the
plus
round
money,
lines-
if you guys still want plus money, pick your side in this fight. Go down to fighter wins inside the distance and play Liang Na for plus 120 or Juarez at plus 175 because this is going to be inside the distance. One of them is going to win. And instead of getting pick-up money at minus 110 for either one, you can get plus money for it, whatever side you want to play. That's how I would play it.
Yeah, that's probably a solid bet. So, yeah, so right here, fighter wins inside the distance. I'm not as convinced as you are, but I mean, I guess historically speaking, the two of them get stopped or stop other people. So it probably should not go to the distance. So, yeah, pick a side, and you'll go from there. I mean,
she could not breathe after the first round of that last. And I understand that was a tough first round. Like it was an aggressive.
there was a lot going
first
on
round,
in their life too. No coach, all that stuff.
Yeah, Song Yudong literally picked her up and was like, "What are you doing?" The ref standing over, like, "You gotta move. You can't just lay there and just wait for the second round to start."
Let's see who you all voted for. Let's go back. Liang Na.
Woo. That's strong. That's strong.
51 of you voted. 43 on Liang Na over Silvana Gomez Juarez. Wow. 84%. What I'm curious about is how many, I guess we'll see as we continue this, if they all align with our, well, actually, you were not on Ramona, and they were. I was. I guess where I'm going with this is how
your
many.
Finger okay?
No, I'm just messing with my daughter's hair.
What the hell is going on
It's
there?
a
I was like, it looks like it was.
stupid
It looks
just
like it
fidgeting.
was about to fall off. I'm like, that's not healthy, Angelo.
I'm just fidgeting. Anyway, I guess I'm curious to see how our picks line up with the fan picks here, but we got 51 of you voted, 43 of you on Liang Na. So if Liang Na loses, only 8 of you will still be live to win the $100 for picking a perfect card. But Jacob and I are both on Liang Na here, so let's move on. WeWantPicks.com/vote. Again, no qualifier, costs you nothing. You don't need to do anything other than click some buttons, say who you think wins the fight, and if you win all of them, we send you 100 schmackalones.
Yeah,
Then we have
she's been armbarred twice, her last 2 fights. But what's the probability of 3 straight armbars? Nobody gets armbarred 3 times, except for me and when me and Angelo grapple, I armbar him every single time. But
Okay. Then we have Kyung-Ho Kang with the shaved head. His hair is not as beautiful as it is in this picture. And he's taking on Dana Bagara, or Bagara Dana. And this is striker versus grappler, essentially. Kyung-Ho Kang's pretty well-rounded, but he's definitely a solid grappler when he needs to be. He uses his range really well when he's striking, and he also uses that range really well to close, shoot takedowns. He averages about 2.5 takedowns per fight. His takedown accuracy is pretty solid. $2 super chat from F3D Smoker. Thank you very much, F3D Smoker. What is it?
Fed Smoker? Fed Smoker? Feds?
Third
Fed
smoker.
Smoker? Fed Smoker? For 3 and Smo0 Gear?
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you very much, genuinely. Touch my camera through fence.
Oh
What?
boy. I think these are
Anything
sexual
dirty,
advances.
at least a $20 super chat to do dirty things. Yeah, the $100 won't get split. So if 5 of you pick a perfect card, then I'm handing out $500. And it's free.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But if it does, I will pay it, as I usually do. Kyung-Ho Kang averages 2.5 takedowns per fight. 59% takedown accuracy, so it's not great, but it's good enough to get it done. Dana Bagara, nasty striker, ridiculous speed. He's got very solid power, but it's mostly his speed. He doesn't, you watch his fights, he has raw power for sure, but it's the speed that's knocking people out. His takedown defense is just okay, though, at 57%, but he does scramble well to work back to his feet. Another interesting fight, super close fight. I think Kang gets it done. I think Kang can work in the takedowns. I think Bagara is first round or bust in my opinion, honestly. But I think Kang can get it done. I get it. He did not look very good in his last fight at all. But he was coming back after a layoff, and there was some, it wasn't the best circumstances, but I think, what?
No, I'm just looking at the chat. Lim said, Jacob, we watching the fights together, and Oliver, who else will he watch the fights with, lonely ass? I'll be watching with Angelo tonight, thank you.
Yeah, he's coming over. You always laugh at Oliver when he just shits
I know,
on
he always.
you and your stupid
I know
dog.
it's usually pretty clever. I can take a joke if it's clever. If you're just like, but those are usually pretty good. So,
my wife parks right here,
congratulations on the wife.
and she was
One
like,
day.
"Can they see my license plate on the stream?" So there it is, because women are the worst. Here you go. Women are the worst. Don't get married. It is not worth it.
What do you mean, like through the window?
Yeah, she's just making sure. Yeah, she's crazy. Women are the worst, man.
Jesus.
Anyway, you know that.
Well,
Kyung
I
Ho
would say
Kang.
a bad word about her, but it's
you're
up to
afraid
you, I
of her.
guess. If you want to,
You're afraid
if
of
you
her.
want to disparage your loved one like that, it wouldn't be me. If you're a woman out there, I would not treat you like that at all. If you're a female out there watching the stream, I mean, Angela, you haven't been around the last couple of weeks, but this basically turns into the Jacob dating show. We usually get about a half hour in, which is where we're at right now, and it turns into, hey, if you're single, you're 25 to 60 years old, you're looking for a great dude. Maybe you got a sister out there and you want a great brother-in-law. Maybe your mom recently divorced, looking for a rebound. Let me know. Hit me up. I got my. This is
why that
Instagram.
kid hates you. Who's the kid that hates you?
I think he's long gone. There's no way he's still here. This is my Instagram and my Twitter. Tell them to hit me up. Somebody actually offered their sister and said I would love to be brother-in-law with you. So I appreciate that. Let me know.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, I think Kang gets it done. You're on the Bagara side, correct?
Danan. This is one of those that moved to a pick'em. I'm not sure why this would move to a pick'em because it moved recently, like after Luane's, and I know that Danan never really looks great because he's a big dude. Yeah, he doesn't look great on the scales like visually, but I mean he looked like he's fine. Like there was energy, looked fine and stuff. So it might be one of those visual things where people saw him, and he's one of those guys where you can see right now, you can already see his cheekbones, and that's in a normal picture. So when he's cutting weight, those things really sink down. So it could be one of those. People saw him on the scale and got a little nervous or whatever, but I think this is a Danan fight all the way. 100%.
Yep. I disagree. I think Kang is durable. I think he can absorb whatever happens in the first round. I think diving at legs will help him out. But again, he did not look good against Yaya. But Oliver, it was like a 2-year layoff. There was a long layoff leading up to that Yaya fight. And Ronnie Yaya has looked amazing. He has just looked absolutely amazing. We just keep cashing bets on that.
That's a strong word. I would say he's looked good. I don't know about amazing's a strong word.
For his age, amazing. Let's take a look at some bets on this fight, what the odds are. We've got Kyung Ho Kang, Danan Bagara. This is a full-blown pick'em. Yeah, minus 110 each. This is a full-blown pick'em now. And let's see what other odds move, because my only concern here is I think Kang wins the fight. My only concern is if Danan puts him out. He's a very durable guy. I don't expect that to happen, but that's a valid concern. So it's a pick'em fight. Does the fight go the distance? Yes and no. Is basically a pick'em as well. No is the favorite here. Slight. Yes is even money. Let's see. Where is wins inside the distance, decision, no action, Danan Bagara minus 200. Yeah, that's concerning. If I got a little better odds on that, I would play that even though I'm on the Kang side, because I think Kang wins by decision. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll through and look at this. Obviously, I'm heavy Danan, so it's hard for us to look at the odds and bets and see the same way. If I'm playing the King side, obviously, I think it's probably good value at the money line, just straight up money line. Because he could find Danan got knocked out in his last fight. And that was a few months ago. Yeah. And Kang can throw some power. He as far as bad he didn't look against Yaya, and I know it is just around Yaya. He did drop Yaya at least once in that fight. So he does have decent power, not like crazy Danan power, but maybe just the money line. maybe even just, I don't know. Because a 3.5, you would think if he's going to win one round, he's probably going to win the fight anyway. So you're not going to take the minus 150.
I completely agree.
And inside the distance, probably not. So which one are you thinking about playing? I think just the money line for Kang might just be the best
I'm not
play.
going to bet it because if I was going to bet it, I would have done it earlier when Kang was an actual underdog and not a pick'em, because this is such a tough fight to pick. But yeah, if you're going to do it, Kang money line or Kang by decision. I do think it's a decision, frankly. I did like Dana wins inside the distance decision, no action. Basically, if Dana wins by knockout, which is very, very possible, you get paid. If he loses a decision where he's taken down over and over, you get your money back. So that's only with Bet Online here. And if you want to go to weonpicks.com/bets, we have 5 partners. Bet Online is one of those partners, and they are the only partner that offer those safety net bets. If you jump in there through our link and make a deposit, I send you $50 as a thank you. However you want it, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, $50 as a thank you. So we're going to leave this alone. No bets here. And let's see how the voting went. So again, if you guys go to weonpicks.com/vote, we can't pronounce your name, but F3D Smoker, $1. Thank you very much for the super chat. Every penny counts. This channel is not free.
Even pennies add up to dollars, you know.
No, but legit, I got into an argument with a couple people because they were like, "Dude, stop pushing your $50 promo, bro. It bothers my ears."
I'm gonna take 10 to 12 Benadryl and watch the fights. Huh? Well, good luck. Good luck.
Anyway, people complain about my promos, and I get it. You know, you get your $50 free, and I push it, and I say it more than one time per video. But the reality is, everything we do is free. We don't hide the videos behind a paywall. Everything is free, all of it. So that's how we keep the lights on, the affiliate links. It's just literally that simple. And we have very real bills. First of all, Jacob gets paid. Josh, who works the website, gets paid. The software we use for this costs money. Everything costs money. So we have very real expenses. So we appreciate you guys when you click on links, when you sign up. And honestly, to show that appreciation, to entice you to do it, we give you $50. That's why that all exists. Hopefully you guys understand. And it's only a small few of you bitching about having to hear me push it. Anyway, you guys voted. Again, weonpicks.com/vote. No qualifier. You can just go and vote. You don't need to be anybody special. And if you pick a perfect card, in this case, there's only 11 fights. Very hard fights to pick, but there's only 11. So the odds are in your favor. I send you $100 as a wow and a congratulations. 34 out of 52 of you on Dana Bagara. So he's no longer the favorite. It's a pick 'em, but 65% of you like the former favorite in this fight. And I totally get it. I'm on the other side, but
does it make you feel better that some of these odds are tightening up on your side? Because even we'll look at the Fialo is closing as well, and I think you had the underdog in this and in the Fialo fight too.
No, I picked Fialo to win, but I said how overrated he is. He's not nearly as good as everybody thinks he is, and this is not a guarantee. What the hell? It's not a guarantee third knockout in a row, as a lot of people think. So let's move on. There's only 11 fights, so we got time. Then we've got this is another fight that could go either way. This whole card is loaded with fights that can go either direction. We've got Manchette taking on Steve Garcia. I did not make a scene about Dana White Contender Series stuff here, which you guys know that I love making a scene about the Contender Series fade and all that crap. Did we get another super chat?
Oh my God, they're just flying in. They're just flying in.
Azra 448 with the $1 super chat. Thank you very much. Genuinely appreciated. And if you have something you want us to read, throw it in the super chat. We'll read it. Thank you very much, though. Genuinely appreciated.
And he will read it to whatever you put in there. He will
Here
read
it is.
Just so you guys know.
Angelo, I'm going to put a stamp on your forehead. That's it.
There you go.
I read it.
Whatever you guys super chat, he will read. Oh my God, here we go again. It's just...
Whoa. Revenant WR, $20 super chat. Do you think with the event being held in Singapore, there may be enough influence with the Chinese betting market to affect the fight favorably for Liang and Wei Li if their fights were to go to the scorecard? Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's an interesting... So let's break it down, right? Odds move with money. So obviously, no matter how stupid the outcome or how stupid the bet is, right? Like if you bet there was a line that says, will the sun come out tomorrow? Obviously, right? It will, minus 1 million. But enough people bet on no, it's not going to, those odds will change. So certainly, if there's enough people betting on an underdog, right or wrong, that will affect the odds because they're just going to move to make sure that you can't play both sides. With that being said, affecting the scorecards, odds, in theory, odds should not affect the scorecards. The judges should not be in bed with the sports books. People always say they are, whatever. In this case, I don't think there's an athletic commission, so the UFC brought their own judges. This is one of the few cards that if there's something controversial, you guys could scream and yell that, oh, it's fixed and whatever. It actually, you could be onto something here when there's actual commissions. That's not the case. Anyway, long rambling rant here to say no. I don't think the odds are going to influence it. Certainly, you'll get some hometown calls, right? I think you've got Liang, Wei Li, you've got, the Asian fighters in that market. The crowd will affect it. You'll get some hometown calls, and that happens everywhere in the world. So I think you might get some favorable judges, but I don't necessarily think I don't think there's enough betting to move the odds for the Asian fighters specifically. And I don't necessarily think, I don't think we'll get a shady call because of the Asian market in Singapore. Thank you so much.
That was that was a $20 worth of a rant there. That was
you got your money's worth.
That was
paid for it.
That was a
per minute.
It'll be interesting to see how the fans are, honestly, if they show up early, because the card starts, I think, at 6:30 a.m. local time. So that's a weird time to go watch some fights at 6:30 in the morning. So I don't know if it's gonna be a quiet crowd or if they really get into it later or what's going on. So it'd be interesting to see.
I think it's the first ever numbered UFC everywhere. Everywhere.
What?
In Singapore. It's the first ever numbered UFC there. So everyone this is like when UFC first went to Canada and people were driving 10, 15 hours. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge, huge thing. So I don't think the time's going to matter. I think people are just so excited that there's a numbered UFC there. So anyway, we have Manchette taking on Steve Garcia in an interesting fight. Manchette coming off of Dana White Contender Series. He was a plus 1,000 betting underdog. Plus 1,000 betting underdog. And he won that fight. He was dropped early. He only has 7 fights to his name. At the time, 5. But he has incredible composure. He was dropped. He stayed composed. He put it together, came forward, ended up winning that fight, and looked decent doing it. Steve Garcia, he comes forward. He's got some solid grappling, some solid striking. I think grappling is absolutely the path here. But what's interesting is the reason I'm on Steve Garcia, I like Steve Garcia to win this fight. And the reason I like him to win this fight is he's done interviews, and he was like, I'm going to pressure this kid. This kid does not have the experience that he needs to be here with me. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to pressure him. I'm going to shoot those takedowns. I'm going to stay in his face, and I'm not going to give him an inch to breathe. So that is the path. That's how he's going to beat the dude. I like him to win. I believe in that. I don't believe in the Dana White Contender Series fade, but I actually hope it works out this time because I need Manchette to lose. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, usually the people that are talking are the people that aren't doing a lot of the womp, womp, womp with the striking and the fighting. There's a lot of talk. That's actually kind of is what worrying me about Joanna so much is that she's like just keeps talking about like being a surgeon. I'm gonna be a surgeon. She's gonna go this and that. It's like if you've been like practicing these lines and stuff, it's like I don't know. It's like you're trying to convince yourself that you're gonna be that guy or that girl that's gonna come forward and win the fight. And sometimes it works for fighters, but the Steve Garcia stuff, it just seems kind of forced to me. Like I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna TKO. I'm gonna finish him. It's like, dude, you got dropped on your ass like 6 times in your last fight. It was funny. There was actually a moment too when they were talking in the pre-fight live show with Bisping and DC. What was it? DC said something about Steve Garcia. You know, he doesn't get dropped every fighter all the time. And Bisping's like, yeah, he does. And Bisping was in a wild form in that pre-fight show. If you guys haven't watched it, I would recommend you even watch it. I think it was only like a half an hour or something like that. He was in typical, are you intoxicated? Like he was in Bisping form, and he was like, yeah, he does get dropped every single time. Like this guy does not have a chin. And against Manchette, I think it's going to be an issue, man. If he can't get those takedowns early, and he couldn't in his last fight, but the guy he was fighting was kind of clueless on the ground. Manchette, at least we've seen him somewhat defend, some takedowns before. But if Manchette is not on his back and on his back early, it's going to be trouble for Steve Garcia. That dude's got no chin at all. So I'm on the Manchette side, but I get it. Oh, my God, we got more Super Chats coming
Another Super Chat. Gio sounds like somebody from my neck of the woods. $5. Love the content, guys. Thank you very much. Angelo, what's your lock of the week? And it cannot be Valentino. Oof.
Here we go. Put him on the spot. I like it.
I don't do a lock of the week.
Well, you said, what's your lock? For $5, you do.
Here's
For $5,
context,
you do a lock.
whiny bitch. The question was to me.
Wow. Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Jesus.
I said
Anyway.
Jesus, and you said Jesus.
Oh,
This is that annoying stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Five. I don't do a lock of the week. That's Jacob's whole thing, and his is Liang Na. I would agree with that, but if I have to pick, I'm going to go Glover. I'm going to put my bias aside. I've been very clear about that. I know the guy personally. I have for a long time. Not like going to each other's weddings and shit, but I've known him for a very long time. I like Glover to win this fight because I understand completely how dangerous Jiri is, but I think Glover can get the takedown and work from there. And everybody just forgets Glover's got insane power in his hands and can put people out. So I do like Glover. Very, very clear path to victory. Jiri was taken down super easily by, what the hell's his name? Dominic Reyes. And if Dominic Reyes can take him down, no problem. Glover can too. And Jiri's like, I've been working my wrestling since January. Okay. Okay. Since January.
And he doesn't. He's been working on it since January. And I don't do jujitsu or whatever the quote was that he says. It's like, well.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for the super chat. I like Glover to win that fight. He's probably my lock of the week. And Tiffany texted me saying, tell Jacob to come early and we can take him to the harbor. So come early. I'll take you out to eat at the harbor.
No, thanks.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the bets for this fight. See what we're looking at here with Manchette and Steve Garcia. I mean, Steve Garcia, almost a 2-1 favorite. Not a fan of those odds. Not a fan of those odds at all. Manchette plus 152, not terrible. Does this go the distance? No. 2-1 odds there.
The one that I placed that you said you liked is the Manchette plus 160 inside the distance decision, no action. I love that bet. Love it.
Yeah, is that still?
It is. I checked it. Yeah.
Plus 160. Yeah, that's probably a solid bet. So what that bet is saying is if Manchette puts Steve Garcia away, you'll get plus 160. And like you said, Steve Garcia has been a little chinny at times. But if Steve Garcia does what I think he's going to do, gets the takedowns, hold Manchette down, take away the striking, and just grind out a decision win, well, you get your money back. The bet never happened. So that's probably a pretty solid bet. We watched how durable Manchette is. He was dropped early in that fight, his Dana White Contender Series fight, kept his composure, put it together, continued to move forward. So I like Manchette there. That's not a bad bet. If you want to place it, weonpicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. I'll send you $50. Speaking of $50, what is your name, dude? Tell me your name.
Your wife is in me DMs.
I guarantee I've been communicating with you. Tell me your name. I'll pull it up, and I'll tell the whole world what the status is on your $50.
Mbe's in the chat.
All right. Let's see. What'd you say?
Huh? No, I said Mbe. I haven't seen Mbe in a while. Mbe's here.
Oh. Sorry, I'm switching screens here. Let's go back to the voting. Again, you guys want to try to pick a perfect card. WeWantPicks.com/vote. No qualifier. Just go in there and vote. And if you pick a perfect card, I send you $100 as a congratulations. 53 of you voted. 38 of you on Steve Garcia. 71% of you on Steve Garcia. I completely agree with that.
If you're in the chat and you think Steve Garcia is going to win, please put 1 in the chat right now for Steve Garcia. And then I'll decide what I'm about to do to you. So go ahead and put 1. If you like Steve Garcia, put 1 in the chat. Let me know. And then we'll see what happens to you. We'll see if you're going to be in the chat in the next 5 minutes. So, first one's Jester. That's a quick ban for Jester.
All right.
Jester.
Let's move on. Then we
like the stream, guys. Sorry, like the stream. There's only like 30 likes. We have like almost 200 people in here. Like the stream if you guys want. Subscribe if you're new. Go ahead, Angela. I give you permission.
What?
I give you permission. Go ahead. Proceed.
To continue with my show on my channel?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
thank you so much for the thank you. We've got Sang-Woo Choi taking on Josh Coulibao. This is another interesting fight with another live underdog. Sang-Woo Choi, he's a good, clean striker. He fights tall. He throws with solid power. He does a really good job utilizing leg kicks as well. And he's a technical striker who sets up takedowns well when he wants to use them. And he uses them to really clinch rounds. He averages about 1 per fight. And he'll get a close round, and then he'll sneak in a takedown there and then get it done. Josh Coulibao, solid striker. He's aggressive and tough for the most part. He throws heat. Everything he throws is with intent, so he's always live for a knockout. And he's willing to fight like a gritty, grimy, in-your-face type fight. He's not much of a grappler, though. He's got solid takedown defense at 86%, but he is 0 for 4 on offensive takedowns. So if Sang-Woo Choi is able to keep it technical and does well with the technical striking, Coulibao doesn't really have a backup plan. But what's interesting about Coulibao is he's definitely live here. And what's interesting about him is if you look at his UFC fights, the first loss was a fluke loss, right? He has the draw with Charles Jourdain, which holds up well. He beat Charles Jourdain for 2 full rounds and then was almost finished to get himself a draw. He gave up a 10-8. And then his other loss, what are you laughing at?
I don't know. Look at that guy's name. I don't know.
Jacob's pubic hair. Did you create that? You must have created it just to mess with you because it's about Ryan Hall. Too.
Ryan Hall would destroy GSP. It's 100%. 100%.
I mean, you should have an icon.
Ryan Hall with
should
one.
Just be red fire. You should have.
What? What did you just say?
His name's Jacob's pubic hair. He does not have an icon. It should be like fire red. Jacob is that's what I said.
Oh, so you've seen my pubic hair?
Prove it. Show us right now and prove me wrong.
I keep it nice and tight. I keep it nice.
Okay, we're done. Anyway, Coulibao, he lost. He was stopped in his actual loss, but he basically blew out his ankle. So it wasn't a true stoppage. So again, Josh Coulibao, I think it's pretty live here. Jake, what do you think here? And then we'll pull up the odds and we'll pull up the voting and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think this is super disrespectful. I can't believe that the odds are the way they are. I think this is a pick'em fight in my mind. Coulibao is very, very, or a much more talented fighter than he's getting credit for in this fight. And I agree with Mbe. I think this is a distance fight. I see this as the fight of the night. When I look at the card, I see this as a pick'em fight. 2 very dynamic strikers that aren't like super finishers. I think it's a back and forth kickboxing match, 100%. So I think the favorable or the better values on the Coulibao side, but it could go either way. This could be one of those split decision, weird decisions. So, goes the distance is one of those situations I'm looking at. Or I place I like the Coulibao. Let's say he could, lose a decision. He might lose 2 rounds, but I played the 3.5 on Coulibao and got minus 105 on that. So I played it as a pick'em, but he only has to win a round. So I got the pick'em odds. He only has to win a round on the scorecards, and that's how I played this fight. So.
We'll look at that in one segment. And Revenant WR with another super chat, $5. And he said, I already have Liang money line and not go the distance on my SGP. What does SGP mean? I don't know what that is. Something Grand Prix. I don't know what that is. If Liang finishes, should I go by submission or knockout? Oof. I would say if Liang gets a finish, right? I would say probably a submission, just literally given how what's her name submitted? Yeah, how submittable Gomez Juarez is. But certainly like Glover, everybody thinks Glover's going to win by submission. I think it's just as likely he gets a TKO on top as he does a submission. But if I have to pick with Liang against Juarez, Gomez,
SGP, it's sexy ginger people. That's what it is. Sexy ginger people. So. There you go. Thanks, chat. Sexy ginger people. Not me. I mean, I'm not a ginger, but there are a lot of sexy ginger people
parlay.
Out there.
There it is. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Revenant, and we appreciate you. Hopefully that was helpful. That's just so tricky, though. If I were you, I'm not putting 3 bets on the same fight. You already have 2 on there. Move on to another fight. I would not do 3 bets on that same fight.
You know what's funny? He changed his and I'll add on to that. I already gave a warning, Revenant.
He
for
did
people that want
change
to play
his
this
icon
submission.
already. Look at that.
But look, do you know what it is? I actually know what that picture is.
I can't tell
That's
what it is in my view.
That's a guy. There's an inbred family in West Virginia that they've done this these
Wild and
documentaries on.
Wonderful Whites?
No, it's not. It's not that one. It's somebody else. It's a different one.
Oh, different inbred.
It literally
Virginia
is, but that's one of the guys. I can't remember his name. I've watched all those videos, so I know exactly what that guy's what that picture is, and that's super disrespectful. But it is funny, so I know exactly what that is.
Let's take a look at
one of the guys on the in that family. He grew up with because they are inbred, so they're a little bit messed up, and he grew up around dogs, so he doesn't talk. He just barks to hey, you having a good day?
All right,
it's wild. It'll make you feel a little bit better about yourself. But they seem like good people. I mean, they seem like good people. They just say, it's a tough go. It's a tough go. Soft white underbelly. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's the name of the show or whatever?
Yeah. He did it like a few years ago, and then he keeps revisiting and going back. And a lot of people donated money, and so they've got new roof and new trailers and stuff like that. So people are helping him out. So, but yeah, soft white underbelly.
Never heard of it. So we got Josh Coulibao taking on Seung-Woo Choi. Money line, Coulibao's 2-1 favorite, underdog. Seung-Woo Choi a little bit more than a 2-1 favorite. Odds are saying this will go the distance. That's basically even. It's so funny. This is what we talked about. It is even to say will or will not go the distance, or over 2.5 minus 160, under plus 130. Here, you talk. I gotta go on mute. Tiffany's calling me for some reason.
Oh my God, unbelievable! Yeah, so when I look at this fight, guys, I see it literally as a pick'em fight. So if you're looking at the Coulibao side, I think that's pretty good value at plus 203. But if on the bottom there, I played the 3.5. I like Coulibao in this fight. I think it's a pick'em fight. I think he can at least win definitely one round. Mbe was mentioning she sees this as a decision fight. I think it's a decision fight. I don't see it maybe 30-27 either way. I think somebody is probably going to win 29-28 in this matchup. And if you can get Coulibao at even money and all he has to do is win a round, he doesn't even have to win the fight at minus 105. That's how I played this fight. I just put a unit on it. Minus 105, so basically just getting a unit back on that. Inside the distance, it's probably going to be, if you want to play like an inside the distance, it's probably going to be Choi. He seems like he has a little bit more of the power. He did drop Caceres in that last fight. I know he lost that fight, but he dropped Caceres. He's a little bit more of a technical striker, I would say, than Coulibao. Coulibao is so tough and a lot better than people give him credit for. So I played the plus 3.5 on Coulibao. But I don't know if something else catches your eye, Angelo, or not.
I can't hear you for some reason. Keep talking.
Okay, I'm going to keep talking because that's what I do 100%. You answer the phone and then it connected, and oh, Jesus Christ. It's not a good situation. But yeah, the soft white underbelly is inbred family. The reference to the soft white underbelly, the inbred family, is the Whitakers. So it's the same people, but not like the wild wets or the wild whites of West Virginia. That was a different family. Because that was a family that was loaded up on drugs and all sorts of stuff. Where the soft white underbelly is just like a normal family. They just happen to be a little bit different.
And I thought this whole time, my wife's calling me about furniture. I thought you're talking about fights, and then I finally get my headphones to work, and it's wild.
No, I was talking about fights until you said you couldn't hear me, and then we just took a tangent.
Revenant with another $5 super chat. I have a bonus where I will get 100% profit boost on a same game parlay. I need to select 3 outcomes on the same fight. Do you fights I can capitalize?
Do you have fights I can capitalize on?
Oh, man.
So 3 picks on one fight?
On one fight. All right, look, we will keep that in mind.
Yeah,
as
let me
we're
think about
going
that.
through
I can
this.
find
Yeah.
some. I can find something. Let me.
We're only like 5 fights in here, so we'll keep that in mind as we're going through this. But honestly, you should do well. We'll keep it in mind. It should be like Shevchenko wins. It's over the round line and a decision. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we're going. Live chat.
I actually like that. I actually like that Liang Na because that's what he was alluding to was a Liang money line. What do you say? by finish and then by submission or whatever. Inside the distance, by submission, and money line.
That's probably solid. You're right.
It's not a bad one, but we'll look at it. We'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, that's solid. Let's.
How about
all right,
Rogerio Bontorin to be fat, to go to the hospital?
All right, let's move. Oh, wait, hold on. See what you people voted for. Don't forget, weonpicks.com/vote. Costs you nothing. We're just giving away free money if you somehow pick a perfect card. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. What fight did we just break down? Here we go. We've got 57 votes, 43 of you on Sang-Woon Choi. I agree with that.
Type 1 in the chat if you're going for Choi. I need to see this. Who is going for Choi in this matchup? Listen, I get it. I mean, he is a very good fighter, but to be like that strong, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Sounds like people are agreeing with you more than me. Does that make you feel better about yourself?
Yeah, because then if the ship goes down, we all went down together, and then I'm not arguing with people like freaking when I try to justify
Look at
how
these
Rob
ones,
Fudd's
man.
the better fighter.
I'm writing all these names down, all of them.
Okay, sorry, my wife is at the furniture store sending me pictures. You like this? You like that? She's like, "Are you still filming?" Yeah, still filming.
Yeah, just paying the bills. That's what we do.
Sorry, so you can go spend it on furniture. Granted, it is for my office. So anyway, so that echo will go away. We've got Brendan Allen taking on Jacob Mullarkey. I'm very curious to see who you guys vote for here because I like Jacob Mullarkey here. And I'll tell you why. This is more of a pick against Brendan Allen than it is for Jacob Mullarkey. And I know you should not do picks that way. But hear me out. Brendan Allen, very talented guy. He's got good technical striking. He's got good technical grappling. What are you laughing at? People making fun of you again in live chat?
No, I think that guy just is like, just making noises. It's like he's like, oh, God.
Anyway, he's got Brendan Allen, very good, well-rounded fighter. He's got good technical striking. He's got good technical grappling. The problem is you can't necessarily trust him to do the one he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it. He was striking with Chris Curtis, got flatlined. He was actually striking with Sam Alvey, tried to take down, couldn't get it. Sam Alvey was touching him up a bit. He ended up dropping Sam Alvey, getting a submission and winning that way. But I actually think he looked pretty bad in that fight. Yes, it was short notice.
Yeah, that was at 205 too. I forgot about that. I literally forgot that was at 205 as well. So that's a big jump up for Brendan Allen.
It is. Jacob Mullarkey is a grappler. He can strike as well. He's had some success striking, but he is a grappler. But what I like about Jacob Mullarkey in this fight specifically is he will grapple. Let's take a look. What is it? Dude averages almost 7 takedowns for 15 minutes. He's not playing games. He's just going to shoot and work and shoot and work and come forward, and that's what he's going to do. So I like him. Frankly, listen, guys. I'm getting a couch. That'll absorb some of the sound. It's very echoey in here. I just moved. I don't have enough furniture. I like him to shoot. I like him to stay in Brendan Allen's face. And if Brendan Allen is on the receiving end of the grappling, I think he'll have some trouble. If Jacob is hesitant and Brendan Allen shoots, well, then Jacob, is going to be in trouble. I like Jacob Mullarkey to win this fight. I did a plus 3.5 bet on him. I'll show you what that is in a second. But essentially, I bought 1 round on the judges' scorecard. I think Jacob Mullarkey can first of all, I think he wins the fight. But if not, I think he can win a round. Just win 1 single round, work in the grappling, take 1 round, even if he loses the next 2. I bought 1 on the scorecard, so I will get paid. You're only going to get that bet if you go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. Jakey boy, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm on the Brendan Allen side, but as you can see, if you guys are reading the chat, looking at that chat, and taking advice from everyone else, everyone is 100%. You just can't trust Brendan Allen. You have no idea what he's going to do, if he's going to grapple, if he's going to strike. If he is going to strike, he can get knocked down. He can get out-wrestled. I mean, that's typically not what happens if he does wrestle. In my mind, I think that this is the perfect matchup for Brendan Allen because I think Jacob Mullarkey forces him to grapple. Brendan Allen gets in trouble when he doesn't want to grapple, when he's against strikers and he starts throwing hands and he thinks he's a kickboxer. Because when he goes to the ground, he usually has very good success against most people. I mean, we saw him beat not Chris Dawkins, Kyle Dawkins, right? In basically a wrestling match. I mean, and Kyle Dawkins is very talented on the ground. He could beat most people on the ground. And I think Jacob Malkoun is going to force the grappling out of Brendan Allen. And in my mind, Brendan Allen should be able to win some grappling exchanges to win the fight, maybe even find a submission on the ground. He is pretty slick on the ground. So if it's on the feet, anything can happen in a Brendan Allen fight. If it's on the ground, I actually like Brendan Allen in this fight, as long as he's not the guillotine guy. I hate the guillotine guys, the people that are the jiu-jitsu guys that are just like, okay, this guy's going to shoot on me, I'm going to pull guillotine. And then you don't get it and you end up on your back, and that's how you lose decisions. So I support your play in this if it's a 3.5. Even if you take Jacob Malkoun for a money line, the plus 255. I mean, that seems like pretty good odds for a guy has a game plan and can execute that game plan against somebody that might end up on their back and try to play their guard game for 3 rounds. So I'm the Brendan Allen side. I think this is probably a tailor-made matchup for him. And if he loses this, you're supposed to be the grappler, the dominant grappler. So if somebody comes in and tries to wrestle you and does out wrestle you, I don't know where you are at in this division anymore. So this should be a Brendan Allen fight to lose, but I don't trust him.
But I see, here's the thing, and Troy commented about the Punahil fight. The Punahil, Brendan Allen looked great in that fight. He was supposed to be grappling in that fight and decided to strike and won. Granted, we have now seen Punahil, lose a little bit more, and but going into that, he was undefeated, power for days. Why would Brendan Allen strike with this guy? And he ended up winning a striking match. But then he decided to strike with Chris Curtis and got put away. Somebody said Jacob Malkoun's not Chris Curtis. I agree. That's not his path. If I said Jacob Malkoun's going to knock out Brendan Allen, then yeah, make a Chris Curtis comparison. I just think Brendan Allen is going to try and strike, and Jacob Malkoun is going to try and grapple. And Brendan Allen may be the better straight-up grappler, and if they were on a mat and they shook hands and then they went at it, Brendan Allen might win. But if Brendan Allen's going to entertain the striking, Jacob Malkoun is not. He's going to shoot. He's going to grapple immediately. And Brendan Allen, we have seen many superior grapplers lose to people less credentialed than them just with aggression, coming forward, shooting the takedowns, staying on top. I don't care how good Brendan Allen's grappling is. If he's defending takedowns the whole time or on his back, he's not going to triangle Jacob Malkoun. He's not going to sweep him. So, this really just comes down to which Brendan Allen shows up. If he comes out here looking to strike, I think he loses. If he comes out here grappling, shooting first, I think he wins. Brendan Allen is the better fighter in this matchup. I like to look at styles. I think Jacob Malkoun's forward pressure grappling style will be a problem, but Brendan Allen's the better fighter. You agree with that?
Well, yeah, I think he's definitely the more talented. And he could be, if he was a guy that just knows that, hey, I'm a wrestler, I'm a grappler, and let me be that until I can't be that, and then I can default to decent strike, because he's not a bad striker, right? I mean, he can if he can't get the takedowns, he can go to the striking and still win. But let's focus on the wrestling, on the grappling. He could be one of those top 10 guys in the division because he is that talented. And it's not like he's so one-sided; he's pretty well rounded, but he just seems like a guy that and some people just like to have fun in there. Who is it that said, I can wrestle, but I don't want to wrestle. It's boring. I just want to be. Oh, it's Michael Chandler basically said, I don't want to hug people anymore. Like, I can wrestle, but I want to get in there and I want to put on a show. And some people like that. Maybe Brendan Allen's one of those guys. And hats off to him.
So Brendan Allen is now the 3-1 favorite. 3-1 favorite. And talent for talent, skill for skill, that's probably appropriate. I think he could potentially be 3 times the better fighter. But we don't know what he's going to do when he goes out there. And it's also tricky. I'm talking against myself here. If you look at his UFC record, he only has a couple of losses and they're decent. You know what I mean? It's not like he's constantly, but you just don't know what he's going to do or what decisions he'll make in a fight. And that's the problem. Because even though he won the Punahil fight, that was not the path. It was like poor decision making that worked out well, if that makes sense. And I know that sounds ludicrous because he looked great and he won that fight. But why did you go in there with that game plan? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these bets here. I don't like the Jacob Malkoun money line because Brendan Allen is very good and he is very talented, which is why I did plus 3.5. I bought a single round on the judges' scorecards and I lost some points. What was it? Plus 255. I'm getting plus 130. I just need him to win a single round. That's it. Win one single round. First round, second, third. I don't care. Come out there. Get those takedowns, get a bunch of control time, and then if he gets pieced up on his feet, shooting takedowns, not getting him a little desperate, as long as he doesn't get finished or give up like a ridiculous 10-8, I'll cash my bet. So I like Jacob Malkoun there. Again, you're only going to get this bet at Bet Online, and if you want to jump in through our links at weonpicks.com/bets, I'll send you $50 as a thank you, as I do everybody else. Do you like my plus 3.5? You agree with it?
I think that's probably the best bet. I was just scrolling through looking at it because I'm on the Brendan Allen side. But if I want to bet this for Brendan Allen, I mean, I'm looking through here. I don't like anything. I literally don't like anything because Malkoun is tough, and obviously people think maybe submission. Brendan Allen on the ground is a threat there, but inside, even like it does not go the distance at minus 175. I think this could be a distance fight. Even if Brendan Allen wins, maybe he stuffs some takedowns and just isn't able to do enough on the feet and goes to a decision. Malkoun obviously could win a decision with his wrestling. So there's just nothing really on this I like. So I think that's probably the best value. Obviously, is your 3.5.
Yeah, I obviously I placed it, so I agree with you. But yeah, I'm a big Brendan Allen fan. I really wanted to go with him here, but I just can't necessarily trust him. Let's take a look and see who you guys voted for. Again, weonpicks.com/vote. It is free. It costs you nothing. You don't have to be anybody or do anything. You come in here, you vote, and if you pick a perfect card, I send you $100 as a thank you. As a congratulations. 60 of you voted. 44 of you picked Brendan Allen. 16 of you Jacob Malkoun. So I'm definitely, it's a little over 25% here. I'm definitely on the underdog side, and very few of you are with me, but we'll see. We'll see how this fight goes. Dude, women. Okay. So Tiffany called me. You saw I muted to answer the phone because I don't know why she's calling.
She ruined the show. I mean, she
knows I'm filming, and she still called, and she goes, "I'm at Lazy Boy." Which I don't know why. I mean, I need a couch in here, but I'm at Lazy Boy. They have a couch. It was a custom couch that somebody built, and they couldn't pick it up. So it's on sale for X. I'm like, okay, send me a picture. I don't know. She's like, it's got this, it's got that, it's blah, blah, blah. Then she sends me pictures of her legs, like her sitting on it, her legs. So I'm like, okay. So I'm texting her if I have a Mac. So I'm texting her from the computer.
Chat that picture?
So then,
if I had a girl, I'd send all the pictures, but okay. Angela doesn't want to share things, I guess.
So then she's like trying to sell me on it, sending the price. It's really nice. It does this, it does that. I don't love the color, but it's really, really nice. I texted her, do you have a picture of the whole couch? Nothing for 5.5 minutes. Then I don't like it anymore.
Women.
What a waste.
Women.
Typical. That is women.
We got Angelo's anus in here, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
It's the same, dude. If you're gonna make these accounts, can you at least subscribe with it? Can you subscribe?
Yeah, become a member and donate a bunch of money and stuff like that.
Yeah, Angelo's anus is a subscriber.
Guys, if you haven't become a member and comment on my Lock of the Week video, because if you become a member and you comment on that video, once Liang Na wins here in a few hours, you are automatically entered to win $50, and all you have to do is become a member. And I think a member is like a couple bucks. So, and it helps someone out. We appreciate our members more than you regular people. That's for sure. If you got a crown in the chat, 100%. We appreciate you a lot more than the other people.
Joe Salinas liked the stream. Let's move on to our main card opener. Is now Andre Fialo taking on Jake Matthews. This is one where the
opener,
line.
I don't think.
Well, I made it.
They just moved. I think it's the second one, but it is on the main card.
All right. Well, it's now on the main card. We're going to talk about it. Pretend it's the opener. We got Andre Fialo taking on Jake Matthews. Andre Fialo is a striker. He's coming off 2 spectacular knockouts in a row against some low-ish competition. Miguel Baez is not low competition, but he is chinny. The other one, Cameron Van Zant, kind of a regional guy who was actually having success against Andre Fialo. But Andre Fialo's got a granite chin, bricks for hands. He's very hittable, but he can finish you. That's what this guy does. Jake Matthews is a wrestler. He works in takedowns really well. He has success with his wrestling. And frankly, I think Jake Matthews can win this fight. I am not picking Jake Matthews here. I am picking Andre Fialo, but the market has said Andre Fialo should not be a favorite because that line is moving hard, and it may be a pick 'em by the end of the day or by the time these fights start. And it's interesting because Andre Fialo, with these quick turnarounds, he's trying to make a name for himself, and he has with the quick turnarounds, trying to be like a cowboy. I'll fight anybody, anywhere. I want to fight as soon as possible. What like Khamzat did during COVID, but it's an interesting fight. And honestly, I do like Jake Matthews here. I'm not going to go as far as picking him, and frankly, I'm afraid of how many underdogs I like here, and Jake Matthews is coming back after a full year away, but he's got solid wrestling, solid grappling. He works angles really well. He's similar to a Brendan Allen, though, where his fight IQ is not. He'll grapple when he should strike and strike when he should grapple sometimes, and that worries me. So I am on the Fialo side here, but money has moved. What are your thoughts, Jake? And then I'll pull up the odds.
Yeah, I think it's minus. It's only plus 102 for Jake Matthews now, so they definitely have, and they're definitely moving. Which is, I get it, because Fialo he's actually the best thing for him. And I think people think of him as like a knockout artist. Obviously, he is knocking people out, but he doesn't chase finishes, right? He's not one of those guys that goes in like Dana. Dana goes in, and the first punch Dana throws, you're going to be like, holy shit, that guy wants a finish with every single punch he throws. Fialo isn't one of those guys. He's not throwing hard. He just times everything so well. He waits for you, and he'll wait too. He doesn't chase finishes. He will wait. This could be a decision fight where he's just waiting, and Jake never makes that mistake that Andre's looking for. But the second you do make that mistake, we saw in the last two fights what happened was Baeza with Van Camp, you're going to get knocked out. And when I see this fight, I was looking at this fight Tuesday when I'm watching film these guys, Jake Matthews, he does overextend at times, keeps that right hand a little bit low, and the last two knockouts by Fialo have been those counter left hooks. I think it's going to be there for Fialo. He's got to be, if you're Jake Matthews, obviously you try to work in some takedowns, but if you are striking, you cannot stay in the pocket because you're going to be hitting Fialo. Fialo gets hit. He's not a guy that doesn't get hit. He just has a rock solid chin. He actually did the chicken dance versus Van Camp. So you can't hit him, but as you're hitting him, you got to get out of there. It's not, you can't have 4, 5, 6 punch combos just because you're touching the guy, because eventually he's going to get that timing, and that's when he's going to sit down on one of those left hooks and he's going to be in trouble. So you got to have footwork. It's boom boom and you're out. It's boom boom and you're out. Have success that way. Mix in some takedowns. Make it boring. But yeah, I'm on Fialo, but I understand why there's some money coming down on Jake Matthews, especially because he's the hometown guy, right? As well, and he Australian around that area.
I don't know. Rogue Sharper said Fialo had octagon jitters. Yes, he is. In his UFC debut, he's been great ever since. I don't know if that was octagon jitters, because you could also say, he lost to Michel Pereira. You could say the only time he fought a decent fighter, he was smoked. So that literally is the playbook to beating him, because Michel Pereira is in and out, boom, in and out. He's boom, boom, mobile. He's out. He's dancing. Volume
he's dancing,
and mobile.
He's dancing. Yeah, you got to be. You can't.
Dude, Michael, you got to chill out. Honestly, this is getting a little ridiculous. First of all, you signed up with a partner, and I paid you. You just signed up again yesterday, I believe, and I checked. I sent you a freaking screenshot. Your deposit hasn't showed up yet. When your deposit shows up, I'll pay you. You're like bombing the live chat, dude. I have paid.
He's baiting you and you're taking it.
100-something people a month. You'll get paid. You've been paid. I've paid you before. You'll get paid. Chill out. Take a deep breath. Relax, bro. Shit.
He threw some bait out there and you took it. It's unfortunate to see, Angelo. He's trying to trigger you, and here we are. Here we are.
It is unfortunate. Because I literally I sent a screenshot because I know I've dealt with them before. I sent a screenshot. This is what I see in the affiliate portal. I see your account. I don't see the deposit. Did you make a deposit? And he's like, yeah. I said, all right, well then give it 2 days. Like, let it flow through the system. My anus is tight. And yes, I can be chill. I'm a very chill person, but
Well,
it twists.
I haven't seen it.
It turns.
I haven't seen it. The only time you're chill is when you're asleep during the main event of every single pay-per-view. That's when you're chill. When Angelo's like, that's every main event of a pay-per-view. And I'm like, Angelo, I'm awake.
I fell asleep during the. Oh, okay. I was gonna say it wasn't a main event though. It's like who didn't fall asleep during Rose and.
Or the Ketlin. I mean, I think you were definitely asleep during the Holly Holm Ketlin fight, which you can blame me.
Anyway, that's because I drink too early. Like I start drinking before the card starts.
I don't drink. My body is my temple. So
okay. Anyway, let's see. Let's check out some bets here. And if you want $50 free, everybody except Michael Martin, go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. You sign up, you make a deposit. I send you $50 as a thank you. It's literally that simple. WeWantPicks.com/bets. We have 5 partners. They all offer their own promos and bonuses. And like BetUS has by far the best customer service of all time. But BetOnline is my favorite. And they, this is racist. You're being racist.
I can say that word, cacciatore. You're surprised I can say that.
Chicken cacciatore. You wouldn't be able. All right, anyway, you've just heard it said before because Olive Garden's your favorite restaurant.
I think I've only been to Olive Garden once in my life.
It's fucking terrible. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you $50 as a thank you. BetOnline is my preferred sportsbook because of the odds. Luis Rodriguez, the $2 super chat for a spa day for me. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. This is a lot of work, guys. Let's put it this way. I'm already working on quick picks for tomorrow night.
I could just sit, just laying there. What are these fucking cucumbers? What the? Just getting irate about the stupidest shit. Yeah, what the fuck?
I'm not an angry person. I actually am pretty chill. Thank you very much.
You're just a very triggered person. That is I'm
triggerable.
For sure.
That's it. And it's funny is I don't get offended by anything. Nothing offends me. It's impossible to offend me.
Well, that's what people don't understand is that you get very animated, but even in your animated state, you can still be like, yeah, fuck it, like whatever.
Yeah, I don't care.
But you are very animated.
I go for the throat. Is what this is.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
That's 100% how I live. Anyway.
And then if you come at the Queen Angelo, you better not miss either.
Here's the betting odds. It's almost a pick'em. Jake Matthews plus 102. Andre Fialo minus 122. Almost a pick'em. I'm not loving a lot of bets here. The only bet I would like is wins inside the distance, decision, no action. Andre Fialo, but it's minus 280. Minus 280.
Yeah, the one I have on. Yeah, the one I have on this is just does not go the distance. I put 2 units on it. Does not go the distance. I'm on the Fialo side, but say something weird happens. We saw him doing the chicken dance in his last fight. Maybe Jake faking the takedowns comes over the top, has some success. It was minus 155 when I placed it. It's minus 160 now. I put 2 units. Does not go the distance for this fight, especially now that it's moved to the main card. I think I like that even more. And it is the second fight. The first fight is the Jake Della Madellena. So now we know. Yeah, God, Jesus Christ, don't bring up Burt MMA or Angelo is going to lose his mind.
What's so funny is
here we go,
this
guys.
whole plot. I just cracked jokes that he's 15 years old and shirtless, and it's basically child porn, and that was the joke. And then people ballooned up to I've never watched the video. YouTube recommends like, oh, you like this content? Here's one. And then I'll click on them, and then it's just a shirtless 15-year-old.
And then now your whole feed is just shirtless teenagers.
15-year-olds. So. Yeah, it's like a TikTok algorithm thinks I'm a pervert. So I moved on. And the whole how many subs this channel has. Great. First of all, there is enough room for literally everybody. There could be 100 prediction channels, and they will all do well.
Do you think if they did one of the
anyway. Second of all, MMA, his subs are fake.
Boxing,
just check the views. It's that simple.
They did like the content creator boxing things. Do you think that you could outbox Burt?
I don't touch other people's children. Okay. And I was at the park today with my little girls, and some other little girl just like walked up. Can you put me in the swing? I was like, no, no.
This is a setup.
And then I asked my daughter. I'm like, can you put her in this thing? I'm not touching somebody else's kid. I'm not doing it. At a park. I don't know you. It's my neighbor's kid. Fine. Like, Angela, can you grab...
People in the chat are going to be like, what park was that, by the way?
There's just children running up to... There's children running up to adult men asking for help. Anyway. I actually don't like the does not go the distance bet that you threw 2 units on. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, you're an idiot.
Because I think there's a very clear path for Jake to, as people have been saying, wrestle fuck. I think Jake can wet blanket his way to a win here, so that bet is out the window if that happens.
Well, it's moving in the direction in my favor, so the majority is against you, my good friend.
All right, let's see who you guys voted for. Again, wewantpicks.com/vote. It's free, costs nothing. It's just one of the amazing things that we do for our viewers. You don't even need to be a subscriber, just a viewer.
People don't like you. I mean, people are putting Bird at minus 450 against you in a boxing match, Angela. This is not a good look.
Kid could have it. 64 of you filled out the survey. Again, if you get this correct, yeah, here we go, Jester. If you guys pick a perfect card, I send you $100 as a congratulations. No qualifier. You don't need to be a member. You don't need to do anything.
I imagine that episode. You know how sometimes you're like, in your car you have this and this and this. It's like, Angela, what were you doing with that chicken cacciatore in your car?
I'm just fat.
That was a recall.
That was a recall. Of sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
By the way, speaking of last night, we went to see Nick Kroll, and he said what I said on stage. I blurted something out loud, and he laughed.
Jacob's a full-blown heckler. Yeah,
full-blown heckler. Repeated it. That was a good line, though. Everyone started laughing when I said that because he said what he said. He said, "Oh, this girl broke up with me and said I'm not attracted to you," and it got real quiet. And there was a few people. There was a few people that were like, "Oh," and I go, "Damn it!" And he goes, "Yeah, damn it!" And what he said, it was so funny. Damn it!
Anyway,
I was like so distraught.
We're off topic here. We only have a half an hour left. We have some more fights to go.
My Saturday streams never even talk about fights.
Well, and that's why we're flirting with 300 live viewers and not the 60 that you deal with. 49 for Andre Fialo. 15 of you voted for Jake Matthews. So it's a good amount of you, less than a quarter of you on the underdog. Let's keep moving. But again, you guys want to vote. WeWantPicks.com/vote. You pick a perfect card to send you $100. Again, no qualifier whatsoever. And if you want 50 free bucks, WeWantPicks.com/bets. We have 5 different betting partners. Sign up with any one of them. Make a deposit. We send you $50. As a thank you, we got Jack Della Madellena taking on Ramazan Emeev. This is another fight where I like the underdog. I got to total up how many underdogs I like on this card. I fully understand Jack Della Maddalena's striking is solid. I fully understand that he has power in his strikes, even though it doesn't look like he does. He's got solid footwork, a phenomenal jab. But I like Ramazan Emeev to wrestle. I think he gets under that jab. I think he works a few strikes, gets Jack Della comfortable, and then shoots takedowns. We've seen Jack Della taken down in the past. Specifically, if you watch that Glenn Pettigrew fight, the reason I use that fight as the reference here is because Glenn is not a very good wrestler, and he was exhausted as hell, and he still took Jack down. And Ramazan has the cardio, is a good wrestler. I think he gets it done. I like Ramazan Emeev to work in the takedowns. So I like him here. He's my pick. You love Jack Della, though. You think I'm crazy for picking Ramazan. Expand on that, and we'll share the odds.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get jabbed out of his face, and then eventually Jack Della's gonna sit on a punch and put him away. There's a reason he's a big favorite. I put a money line bet 1.7 units at minus 170 to get a full unit back. The odds have kind of bounced around. I think they jumped down to like minus 150 or something, but they're back up again. And I think they're moving into Jack Della's side for good reason. That guy in the striking is so fluid. The way he switches stance and throws the jab from both sides, and his 2 after all the jabs from either side. I think the southpaw might be his power side, if I'm remembering right. But the 2s that he throws after he's just jab, 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 and then he sits down on one, it's going to be bad news if Emeev cannot get the takedowns. And Madellena, I liked what he said earlier this week, too. I think it was in the embedded or whatever. He basically said, I'm not worried about the wrestling. You know, when you hear like Yuri talk, he understands the wrestling might be coming, and you can see he's kind of worried about it, right? Like, I don't want to go to the ground. Where Jack Della is like, I'm I'm not going to fight his fight. I'm not going to fight scared because he might take me down. It's like, I'm going to do what I'm due, and I'm going to defend the takedowns if they're there. So he's a pretty confident guy. He finishes fights. He only has 1 decision on his record, where Emeev is a decision guy. I think eight straight fights, something like that, have been decisions. Yes. So something has to give in this fight, and I think it's going to be Jack Della with the pressure, with that jab, and then eventually the power will come behind it. I know a lot of people have been mentioning like a second round Jack Della. I could see that as well. So I like Jack Della maybe in the second round after he piece him up a little bit. So we can look at the bets and see if we can find something.
Yeah, let's see what the bets are. I like Ramazan Emeev here. And you're right, the odds have bounced around quite a bit. Jack Della ballooned up now to -170. He was -150 earlier in the week. And then it got closer, and now it's getting wider, which is interesting. I think people don't know what to do with the fight. So I think they're jumping on the line as it moves. You and I are on different sides here. Do you think it... And what's funny is with goes the distance... Well, if I think it goes the distance, then I'm on Ramazan Emeev's side, because this is just odd to me that Jack Della is the -170 favorite, but does go the distance is -180. Does that not strike you as odd?
It's a little bit weird, but I think the jump in competition, and they respect Emeev's toughness as well. So I know that Jack Della is a finisher, but as we both know, that last fight was against an undersized guy that he did finish, but I think they just assume that the striking will be there, and he just won't have that quite finishing power. Out of respect for Emeev, I think that's just a respect thing for Emeev and his ability to be tough and maybe get some wrestling. So when I look at this fight and I'm playing this, I just took the money line. I don't trust inside. A lot of people think there's going to be a finish. I don't trust any of that stuff, the TKO or whatever. I'm good with just the Jack money line. I think that's probably the safest play on the Jack side. I don't know if you see anything on the Emeev side that you catch your eye.
It would be +3.5, but even then,
-180.
it's not great. The odds makers are onto it. +3.5. If you guys don't know, you're buying 1 round on the judge's scorecard. So the judge, Ramazan Emeev would have to win 1 round on his own, which is very possible. I think he wins the fight. It's very possible to win 1 round, especially with his wrestling. And then if he gets the takedowns and wins that round on his own, great. I bought a second round, and if it goes to a decision, I'll get paid. Regardless.
So this is basically, if you look at the odds, they say Jack's going to win. It goes to a decision. By decision. But -180 for +3.5 for Emeev. So they basically are saying this is a 29-28 for Jack Della.
The odds makers the odds makers are saying Jack Della wins a 29-28 decision. That's like the 70-something% outcome that the odds makers, 60-something% outcome the odds makers are saying.
I think it's like 69%.
All right, let's see who you people voted for.
Whoa, here we go. Oh,
zooming in on Jakey baby. 66 of you. Let me refresh. Somebody just messaged saying that they voted. 70 of you. Holy shit. 4 of you voted since I clicked that.
Oh, it was 69. Damn it, guys.
70
Who
of
was that
you
last
voted.
vote?
70 of you voted on this fight. Again, weonpicks.com/vote. If you pick a perfect card, send you $100. No qualifier. Nothing. Just as a congratulations, because we know it's hard to do. 52 of you on Jack Madellena, 18 of you Ramazan Emeev. So again, a lot of these fights, given how close they are, we're still flirting with 75-25 with a lot of these fights, which is interesting. So you guys are pretty confident in your stuff. Koala Analytics, let me take a wild guess where you're from. Thank you very much for the comment. That is appreciated. Cincinnati. It's from Cincinnati.
Why are you saying that?
Koala? I assume he's Australian. Oh. Then we have the rematch. And usually when we talk about female rematches, some sarcastic asshole is like, oh. This is genuinely an awesome fight. The first one was one of the best fights I've ever seen, regardless of gender or weight class. We have Weili Zhang taking on Joanna.
He just wrecked your ass.
Who did?
Well, he's from Illinois, so... That was the most stereotypical.
That
was the biggest stereotyping I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't know.
Unbelievable. I would apologize. If I were you, I would put out. We're gonna get fucking canceled. I would put out a full apology. I'd get ahead of this, Angelo. Shut down the stream. Delete the VOD. Put out the apology. We're done.
We're done. VOD. Jesus, with your gaming language. Anyway, we've got a solid rematch. Weili Zhang taking on Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Striker versus striker for the most part. The first fight was an awesome 5-round war. Joanna lost that fight, but her head ballooned up, like literally looked like an alien because of the damage she took in that fight. I personally think Joanna won that first fight. She won every category of, like, she definitely dominated numbers wise. She outstruck Weili, had more significant strikes than Weili. The control time was the same, even though there was a takedown. She defended 7 of Weili's takedowns. Joanna looked good in that fight, but the damage, like her head was just so swollen, the judges just did not give it to her. And that's fine. Damage is one of the criteria for scoring. Very good fight. Almost 400 strikes landed in that fight. This is the rematch. I think Weili wins this fight as well. A lot of it has to do with activity, though. I think Weili, obviously she's been more active. She's had 2 fights since then, both losses, unfortunately, but she's getting the time in. She's in the cage. She's working her timing. She's working in takedowns. She's had more success with her takedowns in the last 2 fights than her last 5 years of her career. And I think that plays a factor in this fight. And I'll tell you why, Jacob. Because I think it would be...
Tell me, but do it in like a seductive voice, if you don't mind.
I just think...
Like, yeah, ASMR me, please. I'm ready.
I just think that it would be unreasonable. I just think it's unreasonable to assume. Oh, Koala with the subscription. Thank you. Illinois. That username screams Illinois. I think it's unreasonable to assume that both of these women want to get into that war again. It was a war. Joanna's head ballooned up. Why would she want to put herself through that again? And if you're watching the warm-ups, you're watching some of the training videos, Joanna's working a bunch of grappling. A bunch. She may come out here and look to do her own grappling. We just watched Carolina have that success. Carolina's there, training with her, American Top Team. They revamped her, all of those things. We may see some of that. Here. So I like Weili to win. Joanna may work in some grappling. Guys, listen. I do. We've just moved into this house. We just finished construction.
Oh, congratulations.
You see there's nothing behind me. Once I get a couch, some furniture, the sound will be absorbed. But
there is something behind you that I pray to God that PETA doesn't stop by the stream because
the arcade.
Nah, well, there's something laying on the floor there that.
Oh yeah, I got the couple dead. I got the dead cow, and then
is that
I
a
got
Dalmatian? Oh, that's a cow. I thought that was 101 Dalmatians. I mean, Tiffany is kind of like Cruella de Vil. So.
Oh,
Jesus,
I can't wait to
don't
tell
say
her you
don't
said that.
don't say that, please.
Wait to tell her that you said that.
Don't say that. I'm not coming over tonight. I'm not.
All right. What are your thoughts here? You like Joanna to win? Are you like, this is crazy? Of course she'll win. Or are you like, it's close?
Yeah, she was going to be my lock of the week because it was going to be fun. It should be a fun fight. DC mentioned it, and listening to him break down this fight, I think is probably the most important factor of this fight is going to be the kicks from Joanna, because she was throwing kicks in the first matchup that was getting her in trouble with the striking, and also there was a few times when Weili was catching those kicks, Joanna was going to her back, and in the previous fight, Weili was not chasing her. So you see the 1-for-8 takedowns. A lot of those takedowns were catching the kick, Joanna would kind of go down, so they credit it as like not really a takedown because she didn't follow her to the ground. If this starts happening again and Joanna's throwing those same kicks and Weili is catching those kicks again, you could see Weili chasing her to the ground. And if Joanna's on her back, in only 3 rounds, it's easy to lose a decision fight in 3 rounds very, very quickly. I mean, it happens so fast. You're on your back for 2 minutes of a round. Now you're down a round. You have to win the next 2 rounds. If it happens again, you lose the fight. So I think the kicking of Joanna is going to be the biggest part. Does she use it as much? Is it effective? So I'm picking Joanna in this matchup, but Weili is just such a natural athlete. I talked about it with you as well. When you watch these 2 women exchange in the fights, obviously Joanna is very technical, right? She's there, she's technical. But when you watch the way Weili moves in and out, she's just such a better athlete in that respect. So I'm going with you, Joanna. I think that she's technical enough to find the 3-round decision win. She's powerful. She is big. She's like sneaky tall. I think they're listed at, I think, only 2 inches apart, but she's all 4 or 5 inches taller than Wei Li. I think she's able to use that reach and that length again. She's talked about, I need to use my length and my reach. So I'm going to Joanna, but this is a close fight, and hopefully it lives up to half of what that first fight was, and we'll have a fun fight.
Yeah, I don't think it will be as exciting because, like I said, I think it should be a good fight. These women are absolute warriors. They're both technical. They can both do a lot of creative, fun things in the cage. But again, why would Wei Li engage in the exact same fight? Yes, she won the first time, but it was a close fight. Why would she engage in that again? And why would Joanna want her forehead to look like ET again? Like neither one of them would want that. So I imagine it's going to be a little bit of a different fight. I really think it's going to be a little bit of a different fight here. So I would not be surprised if Joanna worked in some grappling. I would definitely expecting Wei Li to work in some grappling. I do not think it will be the kickboxing match the first one was, but it should be really fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And I agree, Chris V, the ring rust, I don't think it's over 2 years, dude.
I know, but she's such a high. I mean, she's one of the more high-level strikers in the UFC, man or woman. You know, the timing, it's not going to be that hard for her to get timing back. Obviously, you know, the first minute or two, it might be a little bit weird, but she's been working on striking. She's going through sparring sessions and stuff. And when you're at that level, I don't think you lose it as quickly as somebody else. Especially, I mean, if you're like a 25-year-old fighter coming up, I think you need those repetitions. But someone with her experience, I mean, Jesus. She basically, and I said it Tuesday, she's the Jose Aldo of the women's strawweight division. She only loses the champions and was a champ for a long, long time. So
she's never lost a non-title fight. So betting-wise, we got Wei Li minus 170 money line. I don't love it. I think there's too much. That first fight was very close. And the 2-year layoff, I'm saying I think it's an issue with timing and stuff. But shit, man, she may come back looking like a completely different fighter.
There's little Texas. There's little Texas coming out, baby. Shit, man. I tell you what, I went down there on the. We were looking for frogs the other day, and I couldn't even. We were looking for the shrooms the other day.
A while ago,
we were down there licking toads.
My favorite thing that my brother-in-law says, because it says while ago. Like, how long was that? How long is that, man? A while ago. How long is while ago? Was that a month?
Depends on the context.
Year?
It's context cues or clues. You got to use
the context. We've been there a while ago. What the fuck? While ago? Shit, man. Anyway.
You ever lick toads?
Okay. Jesus Christ. Wei Li, minus 170. I don't like her that much. I think there's too many things that can go wrong here for each fighter. I do think Wei Li wins. Goes the distance, yes, minus 260. Honestly, probably, yeah. A stoppage is highly unlikely here. Method of victory is most likely Wei Li by decision, and that's... Oh, wrong one. Nope. Hold on. Click. Wei Li by decision is plus 140. That's not terrible. Those are plus odds on the most likely outcome.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you're going to play either one of these, instead of even at plus 145 for Joanna, you can get her by points for plus 175. So I would pick your side and play it by points. Either get Wei Li at plus 140 or Joanna at plus 175, honestly.
Or, let's see what our girl is at plus 3.5.
Yeah, no thanks. Minus 260? No.
Yeah, that's not worth it. Although
because this could be one of those scorecards where, yeah, she wins around, but it might be like a 30-27, 29-28, 29-28, and then you miss that bet. So.
Yeah, you get missed. And the way that plus 3.5 works is you need one round from all three judges, or you need one judge to give you 2 rounds. You need 3 clear 10s, wherever that comes from on the scorecard. So you guys want to get some betting action going? WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. Let's move. Oh, no, let's see who you people voted for. You people. 71 of you voted. Again, WeWantPicks.com/vote. It's free. You don't need to be anybody or do anything except pick who you think wins the fights. And if you pick a perfect card, we send you $100. You guys are pretty split. 57% of you saying Wei Li.
Change the screen, amateur.
Oh. Jeez. What a mess. 57% of you saying Wei Li wins. 42% of you saying Joanna. So pretty split. You guys are much tighter than the odds makers are with this pick here. So we'll see. And if you guys are picking a perfect card, we'll send you $100 as a congratulations. WeWantPicks.com/vote. Our co-main event of the evening, we have who I think is the women's GOAT, Valentina Shevchenko, taking on Taila Santos. And I think Valentina's the better. I think she's the GOAT over Nunes, even though I understand Nunes, 2-division champion. Nunes literally beat Valentina Shevchenko. I just think skill-wise, I think Valentina Shevchenko is actually the more skilled fighter. You agree?
Then who? Was that a question to me? I wouldn't.
Then Amanda Nunes. And I totally understand she lost to Amanda Nunes, but I think she's the better fighter.
No, she's the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC, man or woman.
Yeah, it's incredible what she can do. Anyway, she's taking on Taila Santos. Taila Santos is very dangerous. And honestly, this is an interesting week reading the comments because, and even Gio just commented, let's go Santos. I have seen more pro Santos stuff this week for this card than I have for other, I didn't see any of this when Nunes fought. I didn't see any of this with some of the other massive favorites. I'm seeing a lot of people picking Taila Santos here and picking against Valentina Shevchenko. A lot of people. And
I think that's the Juliana Pena effect. I think once you see someone that seems so invincible in Nunes go down, you're thinking, oh my God, they're going to start dropping like flies. So, I think that's part of it.
Well, and that could be. So Taila Santos is very dangerous. She's got solid hands, solid grappling. She is dangerous everywhere, but I just don't see her winning this fight. I think Valentina Shevchenko is far superior everywhere except the grappling, right? I don't think Valentina Shevchenko has the same level of grappling as Taila Santos, but we've seen Valentina Shevchenko bully people, take them down, work them from there. When I say grappling, I'm talking just raw jiu-jitsu. So I think Valentina Shevchenko wins this fight. I think it's pretty safe. Most people think that. But Taila Santos is very dangerous, and I listed it out when we broke down the fight. Taila Santos is one of the most dangerous people that Valentina Shevchenko has ever fought, because if we look at who Shevchenko fought, she just beat Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy's not dangerous. She beat Jessica Andrade, who is dangerous, just not at this weight class. She beat Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia is 4-5 in the UFC, not very dangerous. She beat Caitlin Chikagian. Caitlin Chikagian's not finishing anybody. So while Shevchenko's dominating people, I don't think she has fought somebody who is as dangerous as Taila Santos in a very long time. So I like Shevchenko to win. I fully recognize Taila Santos is dangerous here. My biggest issue with this fight is I don't know how Shevchenko wins. What do you think?
Go back and watch the Nunes Junior Pena breakdown that we did, especially like on Friday or something like that. I correctly predicted the Juliana Pena upset over Nunes. I didn't say that she would, but I said there was a very easy path for her to get it done, and she got it done. And honestly, I woke up this morning, Angelo, and I tweeted about it. This is starting to feel like, and maybe I'm getting caught up in the hype. Maybe everyone's getting me caught up in the hype. I'm going to pick Shevchenko. It's hard not to pick Shevchenko, but this is starting to feel the way that Shevchenko's talking this week, the way she's reacting to some of the stuff that is being said, and the way that Shevchenko has fought in the past is she likes to beat you at what you do best, right? You see her try to outstrike strikers. Against Andrade, she made it a point to take Andrade down, throw her down, and beat her on the ground. She loves the game of beating someone in what people think that they have holes in her game, right? That was the big thing. I mean, if you look at this picture, that's my favorite thing of the week, if it's going to focus. But her face, when they said her face changes when they said Santos says you have holes in your game. She went from like, okay, let's find out if I have holes in my game. I think she can get over aggressive because Shevchenko needs to make this fight boring, honestly, because Santos is dangerous. And if you come in and get over aggressive in the wrestling, in the striking, Santos is going to be there with the counters or with the scrambles and the sweeps on the ground. So, this is Shevchenko's fight to lose, but if she starts getting over aggressive in these exchanges on the grappling and the wrestling, she could find herself in some trouble. So I actually kind of hope that we see her kind of face adversity and still overcome it. I like Shevchenko to win this fight, obviously, but hopefully she finds herself in some danger and then kind of still works through it and then moves on that Nunes fight. But she's already talking about fighting Juliana Pena or Nunes as well. She's looking forward ahead a little bit. So, and you never hear her talk like that. So Something's going on with her mentally this week that's a little bit different than past, and that can get you in trouble.
Yeah, it'll be a fun. I hope there's some adversity. I want to see a good fight. I don't want the Mike Tyson effect, right? Where the Mike Tyson effect is back in the day when Mike Tyson was knocking people out 1 minute, 2 minute. Pay-per-view sales started to go down because people were like, what's the point? I know what's going to happen. Right. I don't want that to happen. I want this to be a close fight. And outside of Tyler Santos, there's not a ton of, they kind of rushed her. So there's not really a ton of.
It's Amanda Ribas.
Yeah, no, she's next.
Amanda Ribas, finishes Shevchenko inside of 30 seconds.
Let's take a look. What fight was I on the fence of?
The Glover
fight? I'm definitely not on the fence of the Glover fight. Let's see. Tyler Santos plus 450, Valentina minus 625. So that's been yo-yoing a little bit as well. I saw her down to minus 600, up a little bit. That's been yo-yoing. The goes the distance is interesting. Even money. And this is actually where I am torn as well, because I don't know if Shevchenko stops her.
I think she wins a decision. I think she wins a decision. I think it's boring. I think it's a 50-45. She just kind of dances around, gets the combination she needs, dances out of it. I don't see her engaging in the wrestling or the grappling, but we'll see.
My bad. Sarcasm is hard when you're reading it and it's not that obvious. My bad. Me and Josh, the web guy who does a lot of the stuff for us, I was sarcastic a few weeks ago in text, and it was read the wrong way, and the whole thing almost fell apart. So we don't text sarcasm anymore. Okay. Valentina Shevchenko, method of victory. Well, if she wins by decision, plus 110. That's a wild swing. You're going from minus 625 to plus 110. So if you think she wins, if she wins, I'm trying to think what the odds are here, because by finish, let's see what Valentina wins by finish. Inside the distance, plus 100.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's unanimous decision is plus 175 too, so it didn't even jump up too much, and she can't even drop a round on that. Oh, I guess she can.
She can drop a round.
Yeah,
it's just that all the judges agree that she won. So there's some interesting ways to make some money on this fight, guys. We're not going to try to convince you that Shevchenko is going to win, because I think we all agree there. It's how she wins. There's some decent money to be made.
You know what catches my eye on this that seems like good value is fight to start round 3 at minus 260. That's one that catches my eye. It's only got to go 2 rounds. If Santos, I could see, because Shevchenko's not she's a counter striker. If you don't pressure her, she'll wait and she'll wait and she'll wait. I like that. Fight to start round 3. So not a finish in the first 2 rounds. The over-under is at 3.5. So to fight start round 3, minus 260, I think that's pretty good value, honestly.
Well, let's, guys, you want to hop in there? WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. Let's see who you guys voted for. And obviously, the overwhelming majority of you, 93% of you specifically, have Valentina Shevchenko winning this fight. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/vote.
Nice.
You finally got it. You finally got it.
Nice. We did it.
It is free to vote. It doesn't cost you. You don't need to be anybody or anything to vote for your winners. And if you get it right, we send you $100 for picking a perfect card. And let's move on to our main event of the evening. We have Glover Teixeira defending his belt against Yuri Prochazka. I like Glover to win this fight. I've been very open. I've known the guy for an incredibly long time. We both... it's funny, I say from Connecticut. He's obviously not from Connecticut, but he has lived in Connecticut the last 15 years or so. He spent a chunk of time in Brazil to get his visa squared away, but he started in Connecticut, got his visa squared away, came back to Connecticut. He's there now, and that's where I'm from, and I've spent quite a bit of time with the guy. So I'm very biased, but if I remove my bias, let's look at Glover, right? I was actually surprised by some of this stuff until I saw the promo last week. I didn't know Glover had the all-time light heavyweight record for stoppage wins. I didn't know he had it for submission wins. I didn't know there's some other record he has in there as well. I didn't know he had all of these records I knew he was doing what he was doing, but I didn't know he was like literally the #1 submission guy in light heavyweight history. And what's interesting about Glover is early on in his career, the read on him was that he's got insane power in his hands. He's a striker who has a BJJ black belt. Now it's completely flipped. Now everybody only talks about his grappling, only talks about his submissions, and nobody talks about the fact that he's got legit power in his hands. Even when he stopped Jan, he rocked Jan with a punch, and that's what set up the submission. So I like Glover to win here. I fully recognize Jiří Prochazka, very dangerous, hits hard, very unorthodox, young, fast. You know, he'll be the faster fighter. I don't know if he'll hit harder because Glover does hit like a truck, but Jiří's chin is insane. You can just hit him with a baseball bat 100 times in his face, and he somehow survives. With that being said, if we go back to his last fight, Dominic Reyes was able to touch him up pretty good. Dominic Reyes seemed to have him in a little bit of trouble. Dominic Reyes was able to take him down. I think if Glover lands the same punches that Reyes did, Jiří will be in even more trouble. If Glover has the same takedown openings that Dominic Reyes had, then Jiří Prochazka is screwed. So I like Glover to win this fight. I am biased, but I do think he wins this fight. What do you think, Jake? And then we'll look at some bets, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I think this is a true toss-up situation because you don't know what's going to happen. If Glover's going to get the takedowns, and everyone is obsessed with saying that he needs to get the takedowns, but as you mentioned, he doesn't necessarily need to get the takedowns. He can just kind of drop the guy, and we saw Jiří honestly got knocked out in his last fight. It was like a flash knockout with that up kick, but it seemed like he was out for at least a second in that matchup. I think he did the chicken legs at 1.2 with Dominic Reyes. So the guy gets hit. People are saying that he can't get hit or whatever. If Glover hits this guy the way that Dominic Reyes was hitting this guy, it's going to be an issue for Jiří. I don't care how good your chin is. Glover is a big dude with some heavy hands. So we can go to the bets, and I can tell you how I play this fight. But I'm picking Jiří in this because I think the unorthodox style is what's going to give Glover issues because he's such a technical guy, as you mentioned, with that high guard, and he's used to strikes coming from certain angles. Right, when you fight this whole time. The strikes usually come from certain angles. I think if he fights Dominic Reyes, he absolutely destroys Dominic Reyes. With Jiří, with those unorthodox, the hands down, the weird uppercuts, I think that's where it's going to give him issues in the striking. But as far as the betting goes, I played both sides on this for the first 2 rounds. I don't think it goes farther than 2 rounds. I took Jiří by KO TKO, round 1, round 2. And the Glover, which I was surprised early in the week, I played Glover by submission round 1-1-2. I got plus 1,100 and plus 1,400 respectively. And right now it's moved down to plus 700 and plus 1,200. So they definitely moved. I was surprised they were plus 1,100 that early. You can still get plus 700 or plus 1,200 for a round 1 submission, round 2 submission for Glover. So, but I think Jiří wins. Unfortunately, I'm be rooting for Glover 100%. Yeah,
I think that's most people's read, right? I think a lot of people think Jiří wins this fight, but then they're rooting for Glover just because of he's just a great guy. I know that firsthand, but even it comes across on television as well that he's just a fun, happy guy. Betting wise, we talked about our bets here. Honestly, pick a side. Just pick a side. If you like Glover to win, Glover by stoppage is the pick. If you like Prochazka to win, Prochazka by stoppage. I definitely think this does not go to a decision. I think Glover by submission is probably, I just did Glover money line at plus 170. Glover by submission is probably the best Glover bet, but he can get a takedown. He can elbow his way to a TKO. And then Jiří Prochazka, I mean, if he wins, it's the first or second round. That's it.
And this whole Jiří has been training with Cejudo. Dude, the guy's been working on his. You can't learn wrestling in 6 weeks. You can't do a training camp in 6 weeks, right, Angelo? I mean, back me up on that, my man. I mean, to say that he's worked with Cejudo a couple of times. Like, hey, I'm sure Cejudo showed him a couple things, but you don't just. Yep. It's all about if you're in there and you're trying to wrestle and you're thinking about the wrestling. You're not gonna out wrestle Glover by thinking of the next. Okay, I'm here now. What Cejudo told me to do. Okay, now I'm gonna do this. It's like it doesn't work that way. You're either a wrestler or you are. Obviously, you can learn it, but it takes a long, long time to get natural and fluid in the wrestling.
No, 100%, absolutely 100% agree. My biggest concern for Glover is his age and his chin. But his chin has been holding up, and he's looked fantastic. The guy is all heart. He's fought. He had a great, and then we'll do the voting here, but he had a great comment. You sent it to me where he basically said, yeah, he hits hard, but who have I fought that doesn't hit hard?
Yeah, that was
he
a great
fought
line by
Rampage
Glover.
Jackson when Rampage was
he's been
Rampage.
fighting everyone. He's been fighting everyone in the light heavyweight division for 20 years. It's like everyone I fight, everyone at 205 hits hard. Like everyone hits hard.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with all of that. It'll be a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it. We'll take a last look at the vote here. Again, WeWantPicks.com/vote. If you pick a perfect card, we send you $100. 74 of you voted. It's closer than I thought it was going to be. 60% of you for Yuri, about 40% of you for Glover. That's closer than I thought it was going to be for sure. And guys, WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. Let me know when you do, and we send you $50 as a thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out in the live stream. We'll see you for quick picks tomorrow. Thank you for everything. If you guys get rich off these picks, hit the thanks button. Hit the thanks button. Share the love. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my quick pick video. Thank you.
Subscribe. Everyone subscribe. Subscribe right now.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought you were going to end it, but
Wait,
here we go. I mean, this is awkward now. Sorry, guys.
All right.